Hello, beautiful people. This is the Busted Knees and Pretty Trees podcast. No, your ears are not deceiving you. These are not the dulcet tones of the impending brand ambassador for North Face, the one who has forsaken art contest, and the future mule farmer, Travis White. Instead, this is the News Panther's best friend, Brad, coming to you from the Busted Knees and Pretty Trees Sound Editing HQ, also known as my office. During this holiday season, we are taking a week or two off to perform some upgrades to our studio. But fear not, for this week, we have pre-recorded a recap of Season 1's episodes on choosing the Big Three, just in time to catch those holiday sales. As a refresher, the Big Three includes tents, backpacks, and sleeping bags. But without further ado, here's Travis, Patty, and myself discussing some things to look for when browsing for those deals that are more elusive than Bigfoot himself.
This is our final episode of the season. We kind of wanted to recap what we talked about for this last season in terms of gear, the big three: backpacks, tents, and sleeping systems.
Yeah.
Which I will say, even though it's the end of season 1, we're still going to be talking backpacking, outdoors, hiking.
Oh, there's more.
The genre is not
gear.
going to change. We're
Way
just going to
more
change.
gear.
Yeah.
No, I think with the first season, we decided that we wanted to cover the core three, like Travis J said,
Yeah.
the backpacks, the tents, and the sleeping bags. If anybody out there is listening and you're getting into backpacks, you can rest assured that if you listen to this first season, that you're going to know enough to get you what you need to start. And that is that core three. Without that core three, you're effed.
And you can always email us, and we'll be happy to give you our very opinionated decisions on what you should do.
Yeah, dude. If you're lucky, I'll go shopping with you.
Yeah, oh, hell yeah.
That'd be great, dude.
But yeah, no, for real, email us. We'll at least give you what we think and things to look out for, whatnot.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Brad, let's hear your opinion on. Let's start with, let's say, backpacks real quick. Let's do a quick summary of this and we'll move through it.
Yeah. So the main things in backpacks that we covered were looking for the right size as far as volume of pack that you want.
Yep.
Generally, for most 3 to 5 nights, you want 50 to 65 liter backpack. That's usually the most common backpack.
Mm-hmm.
That's volume, right?
Yeah, volume.
That's what we learned.
Liters. How much you can fill your pack.
Yep.
Probably the most important thing is how that pack fits, how it feels on you. So definitely try the pack on. Most outfitters will help you fit a pack that fits you the way it's supposed to. So just find one that fits you and feels the most comfortable.
Yep.
It's going to cost a lot. All these core three, that's like where your big money items are going to be.
Yep.
So think of it as, the way I think of it as is $50 extra. If I'm going to have this pack for 5 years, that's $10 a year extra. Is that extra bit of comfort? For me, it's usually worth it. So
I totally agree.
just weigh that, keep that in mind, and talk to talk to the employees at the outfitter store, try them on.
I've never met an employee at any one of the outfitters that I've ever been to, including REI, that isn't happy to help.
Oh, yeah.
And extremely knowledgeable on the department that they're in.
Yep, for sure.
For sure.
For sure.
Comfort is so important when it comes to this, especially if you're going to be out there all the time. If that thing's rubbing you wrong or the weight's not hanging off your hips properly, it could make you miserable
If you
later
think,
on.
like, probably 70% of your waking time, this pack's going to be on your body.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
you want to make sure it's comfortable.
Yep.
Yeah, and you want
That's
to
right.
make sure it doesn't hurt you over those days out there sitting on your back. So, yeah, go try them out. Don't just do what I did and just buy them all willy-nilly and get lucky.
What, Patty, what do you think as far as accessories? Some things to look out for.
In terms of backpacks?
Yeah.
Look, I mean, we talked about them in the episode. For me, it's the kangaroo pocket on the back. You, on this last trip, kind of taught me a little bit more of what I can use it for, so thankful for that. But it's always been a great thing to have.
Yeah.
I mean, either to put your camp shoes in or to put your wet stuff, your wet rain fly, whatever. Also your hip belt pockets, those will be on your waist straps. Some
Everybody
packs.
loves some snacks.
Yeah, everybody does love some snacks or emergency gear, your cell phone if you want to take photos, lip balm, anything along those lines that you could fit right in these little pouches. It's right there. easy to access, easy to close. It just really makes your snacking on trail or having some of those necessities really close to you without having to take your pack off.
Yeah.
It's a great thing. Some of them have one, some of them have two, and some of them actually have none. You have to buy kind of add-on accessories for, or wear like a fanny pack, which is another option that you're just going to have to make when you're out there choosing.
Yeah.
Side pockets is another thing. Theirs are going to be on your left and your right-hand sides of your pack. I store my tent poles and I store my camp chair in there, and then also an extra water bottle. Brad brought up in the interview that it was nice to be able to kind of slide his water bottle in from the side of this pocket. Some of those side pockets have little slits on them, so where you can fit your water bottle right into there and not have to kind of wonky jaw your arm to slide it from north to south. You can kind of go from east to west.
Yeah.
Or have a buddy do it for you.
Which is pretty common.
Yeah.
One more kind of accessory we talked about was either the foam back plate or the zero gravity.
Anti-gravity
system for your back. I have a foam plate because my pack's the older rendition of what Brad's pack is. Mm-hmm. He has the
anti-gravity.
Anti-gravity.
I believe it's like AG is in the description.
AG's in the description. So that's just something else that you have to look for. The anti-gravity sits about an inch off your back. It allows airflow to go in there so your back isn't sweaty as much, whereas the foam back is comfortable, certainly, but it's sitting right on your back, and that heat really builds up fast.
Yes.
So just another thing that you would just want to pay attention to when you're in the store looking for your new pack, getting ready to get on the trail.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right. Do you guys want to move on to tents now? I know we talked about tents and we talked about hammocks. Patrick is our hammock guy.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't have to get into
guy.
hammocks. Other than that's just another option that you can have. We'll have a more of a dedicated thing about hammocks, or you can go back in the last episode. But I definitely think we want to talk more on tents. I think that's kind of more viable for what we're talking about.
So with tents, it's definitely one of those things that usually the more you pay, the better the tent, the lighter weight, the ease of setup. You know, it's your house when you set up at night. So it's something you definitely want to make sure you're comfortable with, you're comfortable setting up, you feel safe in. For the most part, everybody should probably get a 2-person tent, because a 1-person tent just means they're really only like 24 inches wide, and the standard sleeping pad is 20 inches wide. So that only gives you 4 extra inches of room. So most people, like every backpacker, usually gets a 2-person tent. You want to look for any kind of storage inside of the tent is something to keep in mind. It's good to have little pockets to put stuff that you want to get quickly, stuff that you can just store overnight that you're not going to need until the morning. And you can kind of prioritize where you're putting everything. Some way to shine light inside of your tent at night when the sun goes down, so you know what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely. You could have a vestibule on it.
Yeah, there's different types of vestibules, like that copper spur turns into an awning.
Yeah, it's just kind of a place outside of the inner part of your tent.
Yeah, some tents have 1 door versus 2 doors. I personally always like having 2 doors. Most 2-person tents will have 2 doors just because they're thinking like somebody's sleeping on both sides of the tent. So they each need a way out if they need to go to the bathroom or whatever.
And most of these tents are like aluminum
frames, poles.
Yeah. But you've had one that you can set up with your hiking poles, right?
Yep. Yeah, there's also trekking pole tents, which are the most lightweight. You can definitely save the biggest weight.
But you didn't like it?
They are a little, you have to practice setting them up and getting comfortable with tensioning it, because they can be a little tricky. You can adjust the height of the rainfly, which also
lets ventilation.
Yeah, ventilation. It can change the amount of ventilation that you're getting. So more airflow if it's hot out, less airflow if it's cold out.
Yeah, you don't get that condensation on the inside of the rainfly.
Yep. So, and that brings up a good point. Like, a lot of it is about condensation control when you're getting a tent, because throughout the night, you're breathing moisture out of your mouth, you're sweating throughout the day. And like, you just want to control the moisture on the inside, because that'll run down the rainfly and drip on you, and it'll be annoying.
Yeah.
So, I think
That pretty much covers it.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Do you have any more input on tents, Patrick?
No, I think Brad pretty much covered it. I think that when I looked for a tent, I was looking for something that was going to fit me. And like he said, I know I'm just one person, but generally most backpackers and most campers, hikers that are going to use a tent, they go 2P, which means 2-person. And I always look for the size that it packs down to and the weight. Yeah. You only have a certain amount of volume in your pack. Sleeping bags take up a lot of that room. So for me, the tent, it was just how easily I could break that down and make it as small as possible.
You know what's interesting? I saw that deal on the Copper Spur tent. Mm-hmm. They have a long tent version. Yeah. I didn't know tents had longer versions.
The tent that I got at REI was a long. That's
Really?
why I was saying that it was. I thought it had so much space in it.
I thought it was just longer.
Well, it is longer.
All the way out.
Well, I mean, like the normal tent, I thought, just the way it was designed. It was
it's just certain tents are longer than other ones.
Yeah, I didn't know it was specifically long.
Well, I think some tents are probably made differently for sure, but I know other tents have the L, and that's that. I told you guys in that episode when I got into that tent, I was pretty worried because I was forced to have to get that tent, and when I got in that, I had just as much room as I did in my Kelty Late Start. That's why I wanted that late start so bad, is because I knew I'm 6'3", dude. So when I need to make sure that a tent, my head's not going to be rubbing or my feet's not going to be rubbing because of that condensation. Yeah. So both tents have just been. It was a Nemo Dragonfly and then the Kelty Late Start 2. They were just both perfectly fine for my big ass body.
Yeah. So I think everybody can see that there's a lot of options out there.
Yeah.
Sizes, shapes.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yep.
So just like backpacks, do your research.
Yep.
You know, see what your trips are going to be like, what you're willing to do, how much weight you're willing to carry, and all that stuff. So there's a lot of things to consider.
Yeah.
And then the last thing on the list that I think we talked about 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Sleeping systems.
Yeah.
So, and we just had a challenge for Brad.
Yes, we
set
did.
Up his quilt.
And he whipped our ass.
You can set up a quilt at least my quilt, in 42.5 seconds.
Yep.
Yeah. So some people might be wondering, what is a quilt?
Yep. So you have the option of a mummy sleeping bag or a quilt. A mummy sleeping bag is kind of like what you think of when you hear sleeping bag. It has a zipper on the side, and it's like a mummy bag because it's contoured towards your body, wraps you around super tight. And then a quilt is almost like your grandma's quilt that's on the couch, except usually made out of synthetic or down. And usually one end is kind of tapered or sewed up as a foot box to put your feet in, but the portion towards your head is wide open like a regular blanket. They usually fasten to your sleeping pad in some way so you can toss and turn throughout the night and your quilt will stay on top of you.
That's what I think's so cool about it.
Oh yeah.
You're not going to be flipping the mummy bag around and getting all twisted up. Like, it's always going to stay in place.
And think about our whole conversation on loft. So if you are sleeping on your back in a mummy bag, that cushion that's underneath of you, the synthetic or down filling, is squished. You roll onto your side, it's going to take time for that material to loft back up.
Yeah.
That's now exposed to that environment. If you can't manage to roll inside of your bag, like, it's going to be crushed and make you cold. That's my case for quilts.
Yeah.
All right. What's your rebuttal with mummy bags?
Well, while I'm happy you can do it in 42 seconds, I can do the mummy bag in less than 15.
Less than 15.
And so that's one of them. The other one, I think, is just because it's classic, because everyone knows how to manage that. And there's jokes aside, there's less fidgeting. And for people like me, that I just tend to exert all of my energy while I'm on trail, just hoofing it and breathing hard. And when I get to camp, I'm ready to chill, whether or not it's sit in my camp chair and make food, or go into the tent and listen to a book, or listen to the sounds of the nature around me. I just want to be in there. Also, by that time, like, no matter where I've been, it starts getting a little chilly willy. So, like, I just don't want to be fidgeting. I want to be in my comfy, warm base layers and laying underneath my blanket. So that's one thing. Two, I think that the newer generations of mummy bags, especially now with the creation of quilts, they're starting to come out with quite a few accessories within the bag that kind of even the playing field even more.
Yeah.
You know, where the pillow is a big thing on quilts because it's a little bit easier to manage, where now mummy bags are coming with a pillow slit for it. There's a way to ventilate yourself like crazy. I was just looking at the Nemo, one of the new Nemo sleeping bags, where it's got actually ventilation like zippers or strap, like Velcro strap things all the way down the front. So you can totally open it and open yourself up, or you can close it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's just, I just think at that point, it's what you want to do.
I think so, yeah.
I think in terms of mummy bag or quilt, that's just a personal preference. I think that your bigger question that I myself have even been asking since this episode is whether or not you're going to go down fill or you're going to go synthetic fill.
Yeah.
I've talked with a few people at work that listen to the pod, and they've argued with me, Ed, I know you're going to listen. And Ed shits on me for the synthetic vibe, but even I'm changing my opinion. I think that the more I look into down, I think it's less not durable, if that makes any sense. Like, it is more durable than I thought.
Yeah.
It weighs less. And for me, going into our next trips, my intentions are to lower the weight in my bag, and down is the way to do that.
All right.
Yeah.
What's funny, Travis, I think you'll appreciate this, being like a military history buff, is Ed, who Patty was talking about, was shitting on him. His dad had like the old military down, like OD green, drab sleeping bags.
Yep.
And that's kind of what he grew up with, were those old sleeping bags.
And that's why he has an affinity for that.
Those probably weighed like 10 pounds, though, didn't they?
Like they probably
Yeah,
had a
they
lot
certainly
of
did.
down.
I just think it's to the point of, like, if you're getting into backpacking, it's going to be tough looking at the two options, down or synthetic.
Yeah.
Because the down, no matter what, is going to be $100 to $200 more all day, every day.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like with all these big three that we've been talking about,
Yeah.
it's all going to be like you can pay 60, 100, 150 more to get these extra things.
Yeah,
and it's just, is it worth it to you to have that extra amenity or not?
Yeah, I think yes, I agree. But the hard part is when you have nothing and you're looking at all this stuff.
Right.
Like, those are the people that we're talking to. You know,
Yeah.
the people that don't have a tent and a pack.
Yeah.
So they just need to go out and buy a sleeping bag. So $250 for a sleeping bag isn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But when you're out, when you're trying to get on the trail for the first time, who we're hoping to inspire, that is a hard sell and nerve-wracking when you're looking at this stuff and you're thinking that $60 does start playing into that.
Right.
So I think, just if I had to do it all over again, I would try to plan my trip. We're talking to Sarah about the same thing.
Yeah.
Try to plan your trip far enough in advance and really be staying on the sales and going into your outfitters and shopping correctly. Don't just go in there with a wad of money and buy everything then, or think that you can do that. Take your time. Really do your research. When you're looking at tents, do your research on the tents and tents only.
Yeah.
Dive in for months, and then at the end of that, find a sale, buy it. And then sleeping bags, and then your pack. And,
Take your time.
And all of those things. Take your time.
Like, I think after the trip I did in 2023, after that trip, I decided, okay, it's time for me to upgrade everything. My big three, I'm upgrading all of it.
Yep.
And I didn't have the final piece, the tent of that, until 11 months later.
Yep.
Like, this stuff goes on sale every year. They come out with new models, little changes, and they're not really that significant of changes that you're missing out on the new model when you buy the year-old model.
Ain't no shame in that game.
Yeah, so it took me 11 months to buy 3 pieces of gear, just because I was always watching. That's why I said that tent's on sale. For me, that's a huge deal, because I'd watch that tent for every year for 5 6 years.
Yeah.
And now it's half price.
Yeah.
So, keep an eye on those sales. If you're close to an REI, if you can get to an REI, they have a resupply section. It's normally in one back corner. And I found my Osprey Atmos 65 pack for it was like 25% off, and it was brand spanking new.
I hate to correct you again, but I found that.
Yeah, sorry, Patty did.
Oh,
Yeah.
What's funny is
That's the second time. And I just want my credit.
It's funny because I tried on new ones and they were like, "Oh, we don't have a small medium in that one that you want." And then Patty was like 5 minutes later, "Oh, there's one in resupply."
Dude, whenever I go into REI, I tend to beeline it. Like the first place I'm going is the resupply.
Yeah.
I'm like, why not?
So
Just go
always check that out.
Yeah.
Because you'll find tents, you'll find
pads,
all kinds of
stuff.
I think that like you don't need the latest and greatest thing out there. I know Patrick and I using a lot of older equipment that's still capable. I mean, it is getting older, and I am in need of probably upgrading some stuff now.
Hey, now a lot of my gear is like my stove, my trekking. Like a lot of my gear is my original gear too.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
I just upgraded my big 3.
Your core 3. Yeah. I get it. We just give you shit.
So since this is our little season finale, I would just want to do a special thanks from the bottom of my heart for everybody tuning in and streaming us and downloading us and giving us a chance. And we'd appreciate it more if you gave us a little feedback, because we really do want to make this a better podcast.
That's for sure.
Become a big project for us.
Yeah.
So I guess that's goodbye for season 1. Thanks everybody for listening.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Hello, this is Brad from the future again. If you would like more information on the Core 3, you should check out episodes 4, 5, and 8. If you have any questions about them or any other topics ranging from trekking poles to the Battle at Pigeon Forge, join the conversation by following us on social media. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, Threads, Blue Sky, and TikTok by searching at Busted Pretty. You can join our Facebook group by searching Busted Knees and Pretty Trees, or reach us directly by emailing us at bustedpretty@gmail.com. No spaces, no underscores. Good luck on scoring some of those sweet, sweet holiday gear deals. We'll talk to you soon. Keep on sauntering.